Hello, I'm Brian Anderson. I'm one of the trustees at Torch Trust. I'd like to share a reflection with you for this Sight Loss Sunday. Now, if your fellowship is anything like mine, that you will know lots of people whose lives are affected by all sorts of things, whether it's growing old, whether it's mental illness, anxiety, physical disability, or neurodiversity. And in the scheme of things, it may seem that sight loss isn't really all that important. But just for today, I'd like you to reflect on the impact that sight loss may have on some of the people in your fellowship. Sight loss is often described as a journey, and that's usually by people who are not actually taking that particular route. If it is a journey, then many people's experience will have been a series of cancellations, delays, poor service, and disappointments. Like the rail replacement bus, the alternative is never quite as good as you would want it to be. Perhaps describing some of the sight loss journeys I've come across recently may help you to understand the impact that sight loss can have on people in your fellowship. Perhaps there comes the day when glasses don't seem to help anymore. The light's just too bright or the room too dark. You realise that you're getting a little clumsy and bump into things. You're overcautious when making tea or using a knife in the kitchen. Your friends ask why you didn't speak when you passed them in the street. You can't pick out your own children on the sports pitch. You find your job more difficult. You go for an eye test and are told you have to hand in your driving licence. Now you can't get to work easily. Your boss doesn't think you'll be able to do your job as well as your colleagues and makes life difficult. For older people, the impact of sight loss is increased by bereavement. Not only losing your life partner, but also the driver who made it possible for you to visit family and see your grandchildren. The handyman, the cook, or the money manager, they've all gone from your life. This isn't a path any of us would choose to take. As Christians, we do choose another journey. When we trust in Jesus, we have that wonderful reassurance that our destination is heaven. We know this because Jesus said so. In Psalm 121, we witness another journey with the pilgrims going up to the temple in Jerusalem. So this has so many reflections for the journey that people with sight loss make. The first two verses can be sung with personal assurance that the Lord is our help in times of distress. Verse 1, I lift up my eyes to the mountains. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. We can sing the remaining verses to encourage each other along the way. Through faithful preaching of the gospel, sound teaching and praying for one another, we can share our journeys, knowing that our God is watching over us. Verse 3, He will not let your foot slip. He who watches over you will not slumber. This is true every day and every night. Verse 4, Indeed, he who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. We have a caring guide. Verse 5, The Lord watches over you. The Lord is your shade at your right hand, protecting us from danger. Verse 7, The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life. Nothing can take this away from a believer. Verse 8, The Lord will watch over your coming and going, both now and forevermore. Are you on that particular journey with the folks in your fellowship who are living with sight loss? Can you make their journey less difficult by including them in all areas of church life, serving them and including them in the things that they can do to serve you? For brothers and sisters who are living with sight loss, have you thought how you can serve others? What does your sight loss say about Christ in you? And how can you be fully involved in the life of your church? How often does your church sing, Brother, sister, let me serve you. Let me be as Christ to you. Pray that I may have the grace to let you be my servant too. We're all on different life journeys, with unique problems and stumbling blocks along the way. For physical and practical reasons, churches can be a hard and lonely place for people with sight loss to feel fully involved and accepted. Some are walking away. Hebrews chapter 11 verses 1 to 13 reminds us that so many faithful people face situations we can barely imagine, and their faith was sufficient to overcome. Unlike the Hebrews, who were in danger of turning away from God and needed reminding of what Abraham, Noah, Sarah, and other ancients did by faith, we have Christ and the reassurance that he is all we need. Fellowship with faithful believers and a sense of belonging is a wonderful encouragement when any of our journeys seem too daunting.